Welcome into another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is Froggy Wednesdays, and we are joined by 2020 Hero Open 2020 Celtic Classic, Sam Horsfield, champion in both of those events. Sam, thank you so much for joining us here on the Stripe Show podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Tons to talk about, man. It has been a busy couple of weeks in golf. So coming off of really, we had three events last week. We had the PGA Tour event that was won by Tom Hoagie. And we had the event in Saudi, won by an amazing walk-off putt by Harold Varner III. And then we had the event over in the UK on the DP Tour, won by Højgaard. So great week of golf. So much going on. But before we get into any of that, I do have a question, Sam. How does a guy you were born in Manchester?
Yeah. Born in Manchester, and then we ended up moving to the States when I was 5. My dad has a bad back, and we came back over to England one February, and our heater had broken, and my dad was like, "Why don't we just move out to Florida for a year?" And that was the end of that. And 20 years later, still there, and
Okay, so that's how, because that was my question: is how in the hell do you become a Florida Gator from Manchester? Where does Gainesville, Florida, show up on a map? Because I'm like, wait a second. So where in Florida did you grow up?
Yeah, so we moved to Orlando, the Orlando area, and then I had quite a few opportunities coming out of high school, and made the trip up to Gainesville, and loved JC and Coach Handrigan at the time. Got along really well with those guys, and ended up going to UF.
Who were some of your other college teammates while you were there?
Jorge Garcia, Alejandro Tosti, Gordon Neal, Kyler Tate, Ryan Orr. Those were sort of the guys that were playing when I was on the team in 15, 16, 17.
Wow. Okay. So you were there during a decent run of football as well, too, right?
Yeah. Those college game days never get old.
Yeah, those are fun. Let's hope we get back to some decent college game days. And then as I was going through your Instagram, I noticed you were just about actually a year ago yesterday. You were at the Super Bowl in Tampa, as I was too. I think we had two different experiences, though.
Yeah. One of my really good friends I made at UF, Tommy Townsend, he now plays for the Chiefs, obviously, and I became really good friends with him, and obviously he made it to the Super Bowl, and it was his rookie year in the NFL, and I thought it'd be really cool. I had some time off, and obviously it was in Tampa. It was his first year in the NFL, getting to go to the Super Bowl. It's pretty cool experience, and I felt like I couldn't really pass up that opportunity, and I had such a blast. Seeing Tom Brady win his what we now know is his last Super Bowl was always something that I'll probably never forget that.
Yeah, it's exactly what I always tell my son. I'm like, when it's all said and done, as much as I am a Bucs fan, and I hate that he retired, because I was hoping we get to have 12 around a couple more years. I can always say that we witnessed, of the 7 Super Bowls, I saw the last one.
And, I know.
It was a remarkable game. It was different without the fans being there, and the way it wasn't as crowded as you'd like to see for a Super Bowl that we'll probably see this Sunday. Yeah, but it was still remarkable to watch him win his 7th Super Bowl. And I mean, I guess you could have said, we knew it would be the last one, but man, it felt like he was not slowing down at all.
No, I mean, I didn't get to watch much of NFL this year, obviously, with being over here, but he's probably the greatest NFL player of all time, and like I said, to be able to witness his last Super Bowl is pretty cool.
It really was cool. So as we get into your golf, you just said that you hadn't watched a lot of NFL events because you are playing a lot overseas. Now your parents still live here in Orlando, or they're overseas with you?
No, yeah, they still live over there. I don't get back that much these days. I'm always traveling, always doing something, playing golf, and I have an apartment in the London area, so I like to spend a lot of time over here in the summer when the weather's nice. I migrate over here, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to play at Woburn Golf Club over here too. So that's one of the nicest spots I've been. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
I know last year you played the PGA. Are you looking to add more PGA Tour events? Has the has the kind of melding of the DP and the PGA Tour coming together, has that added to maybe playing a few more over here?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility now with the two tours merging. It gives us a couple more opportunities to play in tournaments on the states that we wouldn't have opportunities to play in. So we got a little bit of a break here in the schedule coming up. So I'm trying to hopefully get some invites, and if I don't, I'll play some Monday qualifiers over there, and just sort of go from there. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get into where exactly we'll see you next and what
Hmm.
events you're trying to get into. But coming off the DP World Tour, you finished ninth in Abu Dhabi at T12, and then
Hmm.
at the Dubai Desert Classic at T4. You've been playing really well to
Yeah.
finish last season, and as you've started off this season, and if I'm not mistaken, your first round in the Saudi event was also, I think it was
Yeah.
second. I think you were tied for second place.
Yeah, shot 6 under the first round in, Saudi as well. Yeah, no, it's really nice. I played well at the end of last year. DP World, I played in the final, and we it was nice to see that sort of just trickle on into the new year, because you never really, right, you never really sure what's going to happen that month and a half off, if you're going to be rusty or not. So I finished 12th in Abu Dhabi, played some good golf. It was blowing hard there, and kept it up the next week in Dubai, finishing. I've shot 500 there the final round, so made a nice little move up the leaderboard there, which never hurts. And then yeah, shot 600 the first round in Saudi last week, and then unfortunately hurt myself on the Friday. I was in a bunker and messed up my hip anyways, but yeah, so the game's in good shape and looking forward to the rest of the year.
Okay, so the injury that happened on Friday happened while playing.
Yeah, I plugged it in the back of a bunker, and I was, like, stood out of the bunker on, like, my leg was at, like, a 90-degree angle almost, and it was buried pretty good under the sand, and I just took a massive whack at it, and it just locked up and seized my right hip. So, yeah, that's what I did.
What hole was that on?
It was on the 8th hole of the 2nd round, so,
Oh,
yeah,
so you
pretty
played
early
the
on
rest
in
of
the
the round
round.
hurt.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it was just more, it wasn't, I could get through it and stuff, but it was just, like, really painful. So it was just like, I woke up the next day, and I went to the physios, and it was spasming, and it was just locked up, and it was, yeah, just no go. So it was a bit of a bummer, but yeah, it is what it is.
Right. So obviously, the giant elephant in the room lately has been the Saudi event, and whether
Yes.
it's the who's going, who's not, who's playing,
Hmm.
who's not. You got to get permission to play. You don't. Um, I mean, let's start with number one. Where do you stand on everything that's going on with the two tours?
Um, well, it's definitely going to be an interesting, whether it happens or not happens. They're definitely making a lot of noise, and there's definitely some of the best guys in the world, being offered a ton and ton of cash to go do it. And I feel like it'd be pretty hard to say no to. The numbers that are being reported and stuff like that. So it's yeah, it's going to be an interesting few months in golf, I think.
Yeah, let's get into that. So the money. So reportedly,
Hmm.
they offered Bryson $135 million just to join the tour.
Yeah,
Now, to put that into perspective, $135 million is more than Tiger Woods has made just winnings on the PGA Tour in his career. That's
yeah,
how much money that is. It's a lot of money. It
a
sounds like a
lot.
lot of money. It is a lot of money. Uh, Bryson said he was not offered that. He didn't say he wasn't offered anything, but he said it was not technically $135 million. Um, do you believe that the money that is there to be made is enough to make not just some guys think about going? Do you think we'll see some people go over there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it's definitely, you gotta, at the end of the day, we're a business, right? And we're trying to do what's best for us. And the reason that I went and played Saudi was there was a bunch of world ranking points available, and I had to do what I felt was best for my game. Move me up the world rankings, get me into certain tournaments, and that was my goal at the end of the day, was to go and earn world ranking points there. So if they're if they're offering up a lot of world ranking points and a lot of money, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Now, do you have to get permission on the GP tour, like the guys that get permission on the PGA tour have to get
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
signed waiver to go play? Did you have to get that as well?
Yeah. It's called. Yeah. You just got to get yeah, you do. You got to get released
So
from
you
the
get a
tour.
release to go play that event. Now, in return, do you have to agree to play other events, or do you have to make up so many events? Are there any stipulations with that waiver?
Yeah, there is, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think I can really say too much about it, to be honest with you.
Okay, so there is like
But yeah,
you are giving up to
yeah,
get.
sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was there any thought? Have you put thought to possibly? Are you going to be able here? Let me ask this question actually. To go over there and play on that tour,
Uh-huh.
is the DP tour going to have the same rules that the PGA tour is, that if you go play that tour, you're then banned from our tour?
I have no idea. Literally no idea. I have not heard anything about it. I haven't even, the PGA Tour hasn't even come out and said that, right? So it's just all speculation at this point.
Have you heard any internal rumblings of guys that you think that would go?
I potentially. I got to be careful what I say.
I get
I
that.
can't say too much.
Do you? I mean, between the players, is there a lot of talk about this stuff between you guys?
Yeah, of course, of course. We don't actually, we don't actually really know, what's really going on. It's all just speculation and just stuff, just rumors that you sort of hear, which you can never put, truth to, until it actually happens, and obviously right now nothing's actually happened. And, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Now, obviously Phil came out and made his comments, and there was a lot of blowback on Phil's comments, and some of
Hmm.
Phil's comments I agree with, and then other ones I think he couldn't be more off
Yeah.
base. When it comes to the human rights aspect of the Saudis, does that
Hmm.
type of stuff bother you? Do you see it as also a problem for future sponsorships, and is that something that is concerning to you?
Um, I'm not really in a position to get into political debate about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really say too much about, that sort of stuff and people's opinions on it. But, they obviously, have a belief in a religion that, they, you know, it's changed. It has changed. I didn't go last year. I went the year before, and when I got there, it was completely different than what I remember it being in the last 2 years. It's changed a bunch,
For the better.
um, for the better for sure. For the better for sure. When I was there 2 years ago, women weren't able to drive. They weren't able to go to movie theaters. And now, you see women driving everywhere, and women are way more, accepted,
And
in
respected.
that and respected a lot more. So they are. It is changing. I'm not here to, make any political statements or anything like that, but they're definitely trying to change, for sure.
So you've seen firsthand that there is a difference from 2 years ago to where it was last
Mm,
week when you were there.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely changed. Yeah, for sure.
So in Phil's comments, he was upset that the tour does not allow him to own his own rights, and Brandel Chambly fired back with what I thought was extremely well put, where there's no sports body that allows the player to own the rights of what they do on the field. And his example was, for example, Tom Brady throws a touchdown. He doesn't
Hmm.
own the rights to that touchdown. The NFL does. He's performing for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
NFL. And that essentially that's every sport. And that's also what the PGA Tour is doing. When you're out hitting golf shots, you are paid,
yeah,
and therefore that golf shot belongs to the PGA
for
Tour, even
sure.
though you hit it. It's
Hmm.
much the same in our business,
Yeah,
in the radio business. When we do a show, our parent company owns the content, even though we do it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
just business. So,
Hmm.
are you surprised there weren't more people like Brooks that kind of stood up and said, "Hey, man, that's really kind of a stupid take."
I mean, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't really know if he needed to necessarily, go into, that deep into, saying what he, obviously he knew when he said it, he was going to get a lot of hate and that it was going to go, viral and people were going to be very opinionated on it.
Right.
So it was, you know, probably would have kept those comments to myself. If he thinks like that, he might just be saying that just cause he's, Phil and he can sort of thing. But,
Right.
I would definitely not have gone that way.
Did you was that something the players talked about too as well when you guys saw those comments? Was that also
No, no, when, we don't really, I think it was on, one of the morning, I think it was Saturday morning or something. I was warming up and yeah, I saw Phil had tweeted a few times before we'd even played the third round and I was just like, nice. But yeah, we never talked about it. We never really talked about it or anything like that.
it's always easy for me as a fan but you're obviously much closer to it being a player. Sam, if there
Mhm.
were things that there were rules or things that you don't like, what are something that a lot of the players talk about, a rule that you would like to see changed or something that you would like to see be a little bit different on the PGA or the DP World Tour?
And within the game,
Yeah.
like with it, like
Either
what
within the
golf.
game or outside the game, however it is.
Yeah, I think rule wise, um, I think pace of play is a massive, massive thing, right, in our game, and I think that they could do, they could do a lot different with pace of play and the way that they approach it. I'm a pretty fast player when it comes to playing, but I played with guys where I have been on the clock and they're two different people. They'll take a minute and a half, to play, and then we'll get on the clock and they're all of a sudden taking like 30 seconds or something. So in that aspect of the professional game, I think that that's one thing that we all want is, to speed up,
So what's the fix there? Is it to warn and then penalize a
penalize,
stroke?
penalize. They fine us, but I think penalties are, put more. They have more value to them, right? We're taking, guys take a long time because they want to save shots,
Right.
and the way to punish them is to give them shots. You know, money. The money side of it is, they get fined, 5 grand, whatever it may be,
Right.
for being slow. It's just whatever. But if you're finding guys and they end up missing cuts, that's
Do you
what I
think we
think.
would
So
see play speed up if a guy
I
knew that
do,
he's going to get one warning and then after
I
that
do,
warning, a
I
second
do.
one, that's a shot?
Yeah, I think if you threaten guys with shots, then they'll get the move on and definitely play faster.
So are there any things off the course you would like to see change as far as rules or things you guys have to do or
No, not really. No, I would no, no, pretty chill.
so I mean the sport really has become so different. I mean, let's be honest. The reason
Hmm.
these other tours are kind of popping up is because
Yeah.
golf is doing so well right now. I mean, I know that we had wondered how the state of golf would be without Tiger Woods.
Hmm.
And I'm not by any means saying that golf is better without Tiger Woods because it's not. It's just
Yeah.
not.
No.
Golf would always be better with Tiger Woods. Just like I don't think the NFL is going to be in a better place because Tom Brady retires. I think the NFL is better when Tom Brady is competing and there are better players. But these other tours are popping up because of how well golf is doing, whether it's
Mm.
social media has been phenomenal for golf.
Yeah.
I believe the iPhones, a phone in your hand to record your swing and break it down on all these apps and post. And this, I mean, it has really been phenomenal. I think that is what's driving these other tours to say, hey, what can we do that's maybe a little different that will make guys want to come play for us?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And the pandemic, as crazy as this sounds, has been probably one of the best things for golf. It's booming. The golf business since the pandemic has been, so many people are playing golf now because they can get outside, and that was during the height of pandemic. A lot of golf courses stayed open, and there was so many more people getting into the game of golf, and it's great to see that there's people that I went to high school with who never play golf and hated golf, and they're playing, they're working at golf courses now. They're playing golf, having fun playing golf, and it's pretty cool to see. and just the growth of the game is just ridiculous right now. And I think that, that gives everyone more opportunity, us to get more viewers in the game. So you got obviously, all these tours and all this opportunity coming from everywhere, and it's all good. It's all good for the game of golf.
Yeah, the more eyes on our sport, the better. I think more people are watching it on television, and I think
Hmm.
there's more of an appreciation for how hard this game is.
Yeah.
Because when you don't play the game and you watch it on TV, you're
Hmm.
like, that's not that hard.
For sure.
But when you play the game and you get out there, you realize that 3-footer that you watch on television that looks like there's no way that guy could miss. You feel like when you're standing over it, there's no way I'm going to make this.
For sure. For sure. And there's even, I've been playing golf 21 years now, 21 years. And there's still shots that, that I get bad feelings about and I still don't like, and I know that, are not going to go well, and that's just the name of the game. And that's why we love golf. That's why we come back, and, we want to get a little bit better every time. And, me and Foles have this thing where we say we get 1% better every day. And, it's just little things like that, just getting better. Having these experiences, playing in tournaments and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, it's good.
So what would you say is, considering you've played on both tours, you actually played on many tours. You played on the Asian tour, you've played on the DP tour, you
Hmm.
played on the PGA tour. What
Yeah.
would you say is the biggest difference in each of the 3 tours that you've played on?
Well, I think that, the strength of the field is there's not much different between any 3 of the tours. I have this conversation with so many people that, the strength of professional golf is ridiculous. Like, there's so many golfers out there that you've never heard of, and you're just like, "Oh my goodness, that guy's so good at golf." He can hit every shot, hit it 340 down the middle of every fairway. I think that a lot of it has, America, or the United States has, a massive backing for the game of golf. And they're always in prime time, for the golf. And I think that's, really, really good. And I think that attracts a lot of, the good players. And, they obviously get to play on the, really, really good golf courses week in, week out that are, in unbelievable shape. And, so I think, yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
So you think the fields are comparable across the 3 tours?
Yeah, I would say that, obviously the PGA Tour has, I would say the best fields.
Mhm.
If you look at it, statistically wise with the world rankings, I would say that the PGA Tour. But, if you play with guys that are, 400 in the world, and you're just like, damn, this guy's still really, really, really good at golf.
Right.
There's not much, there's not a lot of difference between, 70 in the world, 50, 70 in the world, and 400. They've had a little bit better breaks, and played a little bit better in certain tournaments. And that sort of separates them quite a lot, because around that number you can make such big jumps in the world rankings. One good week here, one good week
Right.
there, and it's just so it's
Well, yeah, I
always
saw
changing a lot.
Harold Varner made a huge jump after the win in Saudi.
Exactly,
That's a huge jump. Now
exactly,
he's in the top 50 in the world now.
exactly.
Um,
Masters, he's in the Masters now, and and stuff like that. It's literally a life-changing win for him, and he did that on the Asian tour. And, he's about to go compete in the Masters.
yeah, I mean, I don't think the average person understands how amazingly talented these people are. They see somebody
Mm,
at their home country club play well, and they think, oh, that guy's good. Out on the
yeah.
PGA Tour, the guy who misses the cut and finishes last would whoop that guy's ass most likely.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny you bring that up. So, I had another guy caddying for me last week in, Saudi, because my caddy ended up tested positive for COVID in Dubai. But, he was a +4 handicap, right? And, I was actually talking to him a lot, because he's obviously a really, really good golfer, and,
Right.
can handle it a lot. And, he's just like, I know I cannot compete with you guys at all. Maybe a day here, a day there, where I can, play well and compete with you boys. But, for 4 days, 20, 25 times a year, no. The golf
Wow.
courses are set up so hard. We play 75 to 8,000 yard golf courses with, that are set up proper, pretty tough. It's not easy stuff.
Right.
Um, So yeah, it was pretty interesting to get his take on, that thing,
He's a
that
plus
side of
four.
things. Yeah, he's a +4 handicap. Yeah, yeah, really good golfer, and he plays all the time when he's home.
Right, and
And
when he's home, he probably looks like a superstar, but at the same time,
exactly,
he
exactly,
realizes that he doesn't have the game to compete.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
What would you say your handicap is, the average guy on tour? Because guy walks around, he's a scratch. I mean, what's the average tour
hmm
player? What's your handicap?
So we actually talked about this last week as well. And if we were saying, if you put us on a normal everyday golf course, which is 65 to 7,000 yards,
Hmm.
we're probably gonna drive 3 greens. So that's birdie. 4 par 5s, those are birdies. So you're looking at like +7 ish, +6, +6.5, +7 is what I would say. Yeah. Like when I'm at home and I'm playing like with people who are like around scratch, I'll give them like 6 shots, 6.5 shots,
And you
something like
still
that.
beat him?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's a good game. Then it's a fair game.
Wow. Where do you play when you're here
Yeah.
in the States the most of the time?
At Alworth,
Oh, do you?
in Orlando.
That's a
Yeah, I'm a
tough
member
golf
of that.
course.
Yeah, it's a really really good test of golf. Obviously they've had a few tournaments there, and they have a really really big amateur tournament there, the Tavistock Collegiate, and
Hmm.
I've been at the Worth for two or so years now, and yeah, I love it. Great place.
Yeah, we had Charles Howell on the podcast one time, and he
Yeah,
used to
really good guy.
play a lot of rounds with Tiger out there when Tiger lived out at Ellsworth.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said that he witnessed with his own two eyes one time Tiger shot a worse ball, 65. Worse ball.
I've heard the story. I've heard a lot of crazy Tiger stories, but yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I've
like
heard
he
that
had to
one.
hit two drives. He'd play the worst one. He'd
hmm
hit onto the green, play the furthest one from the cup, and if he made a birdie, if he made a birdie putt, he had to make it twice.
That's the crazy part. I mean, imagine knocking in like a 12-footer and being like, "Yeah, I made birdie," and then you got to do it again.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
shooting
that was
65, and that golf course is not easy by any
no.
stretch of the imagination. It's like 70. I think it's like 7,700 yards, 7,800 yards off the back tees,
Right.
the Tiger tees. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And he also told us that there were two separate occasions they were playing, and he said Tiger was not bragging, but he
hmm
literally said it was one week of the Bridgestone and another week was Doral. And he just mentioned, yeah, it was on a Monday. He said, yeah, I'm
hmm
gonna head down there tomorrow, but I'll win this week. And both times he won by 8 shots. And he said he
Yeah,
wasn't bragging, it was just really nonchalant, like, yeah, I'll win this week. He knew he was striping it that good. Have you on
yeah.
your two wins when you won the Hero and you won the Celtic Classic?
hmm
Going into those weeks, did you feel like, hey, I can win this week? Or was it one of those where, because I've had guys, I remember Justin Thomas last year, if you remember when he shot 59,
hmm
he said he had the worst warm-up session ever on the range. He couldn't
Yeah,
hit
that
it.
happens. That happens a lot. Yeah,
So those
good
weeks that you
rounds.
won, did you feel like, hey, I got it this week, or did it just kind of slip up on you?
Yeah, it just sort of slips up on you. The sort of that you're playing well. You can sort of see that you're playing well and your game feels good, and you're sort of in form. But it just sort of comes out of nowhere. And I remember the week before actually was the British Masters, and Westy hosted it. And I finished fourth, and I think I finished bogey, bogey, double bogey, or something like that. And I finished really bad, and I finished like fourth or fifth or something like that. So I knew that my game was obviously really good going into it, and I didn't really make too much of the bad finish. I just had a bad finish and whatever. And then obviously won the first one, and then the second week was just it was kind of weird. The second I went win, miscut, win is what I did. So the
That's
so the
golf.
the that's golf, yeah. The miscut was just, obviously coming off such a high of winning. I was just not prepared to play. And then won this for the second time in Wales at Celtic Manor, and yeah, I remember I shot 63 the second round, and I made a triple or double on the 17th triple on the 17th hole. Um, yeah, 60. Actually, I think it was 64. I shot 64, and I made a triple on the 17th hole. Um, and my caddy and I, Mick, who he's been there for me with me since day one. We made a little pact. We said if we go bogey free this weekend, no one will catch us. And I did. I went bogey free. I made. It's actually pretty funny. I hit it in the exact same spot I hit it in on 17, where I made triple to a left pin as well. It's just dead on 17 at Celtic Manor, and I made like a 15-footer for par, and
Wow.
that was to stay bogey free for the weekend, and going up 18 with a 2-shot lead. So that was huge, and it was super cool. I remember looking back on that now, and I wasn't thinking about it to, lock up the tournament to win the golf tournament. I was just trying to stay bogey free, for the weekend, and it was pretty cool that was my mentality, on that putt.
How do you keep yourself, and maybe your caddy helps? How do you
Hmm.
keep yourself positive when things aren't going well? Like even last week, you come out, saw the event, you're
Hmm.
second place, had to be feeling really good about your game after coming off a T4, and
Mm.
then things kind of do go south a little bit. How do you keep your attitude and your positivity and keep it going that, hey, I'm gonna, I can right the ship?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is, I know that I'm playing really good golf. I know that I have a bunch more tournaments coming up this year. I'm probably going to play, 21 more tournaments this year. And it's just a little bump in the road. The old saying, stuff that stuff happens, and you just got to
Mm.
build on it and go from there. So about this hip thing, yeah, it was bad that it happened, whatever, blah blah blah. But take care of it now, get it sorted, and be ready for my next tournament, and hopefully be good to go from there, and see what I can build on for the rest of the year.
The talk this year, or really last year since the pandemic, and this year has been Bryson and the distance
Mm,
and bulking up and all that stuff.
hmm.
Is chasing, not that you're a short hitter, you average over 300 off the tee, but is chasing distance something you have ever thought about doing or worked on?
Yeah, I actually did it. I didn't. So I tore a disc in my back 2 years ago. So I lost a little bit of speed last year, and my main goal, for this off season was, to get it up and get it up a little bit more than what it was. So I did that this year. Me and Falls worked on it in the off season, getting my speed up a little bit, and yeah, it's definitely. I think it's definitely helps you, and it can never be a bad thing, right? Hitting from closer to the pin. I sort of think
Right.
that's the name of the game, and to do that, if you're bombing it 350 or 360 like he is off the tee, it's never, as long as you can keep it somewhat in play and on earth, you'll be all right.
When your swing gets off, as they say, when you're just a little bit off,
Hmm.
what is usually what's off in your swing? What's the first thing that you're like, yep, it's that?
Yeah, so I have a tendency to stay left in my swing, and not have enough to the right movement, I guess you would say,
To
in
move
my
off the
head.
ball?
Yeah, to move, I try to have this feeling that, I stay tall and have a little bit of weight on my right side. And when I start to swing it bad, I sort of stay left, and my head drops a little bit, and yeah, so for me it's keeping tall and staying right.
Now, who's your coach currently?
Sean Foley.
Sean Foley. So what are you guys currently working on in your game?
Pretty much that. Pretty much the same stuff day in and day out. If I know that if I stay tall and give my weight to my right side, it gets me in really good positions, and keep width at the top and on the way down, and send it.
Now, you don't want you when you say move to the right, you're not trying to move
Hmm.
your head to the right any, right?
No, no, no.
You're
I'm
trying
just
to
trying
shift
to.
pressure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel like the weight gets a little bit on my right side, if that makes sense. Like I sort of turn into my right hip.
Right. That
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
it's
Yeah.
a very small, obviously, feeling.
Right.
But when you're swinging a club at 122, 123 miles an hour, that slight, weight right, and keep my height, does a lot to my golf swing.
So you don't
Falls
want to.
Falls always says, it sounds very short to you, but it feels like a 20-page essay to me. I can write a 20-page essay on it. So
Right. No, that makes sense. But you don't want to sway to the right, and you don't want your right hip kicking out any.
no, no,
You
no.
want
So
your right hip kind of
yeah,
turns up and back.
Yeah, so I literally just feel like I turn into my right hip,
Hmm.
and for me, it's a feeling of 70% weight on my right side and 30% on my left side. So, yeah,
And then you shift all the pressure to your left side
yeah, obviously on the way down, yeah,
on the way down. Yeah.
just send it from there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. How often do you get to see him with him being in Orlando?
I get to see him quite a bit, and if I'm on the road and things aren't going great, I send him a swing video, and he comes back to me shortly afterwards there. So we have a good connection, and yeah, we're always talking.
Yeah. I mean, he's taught some of the best in the world. Obviously, got to teach Tiger Woods, and I think
Hmm.
he was with him in 2013 when he won 5 times. And
Yeah.
if he doesn't hit that flag stick at the Masters, he probably wins that too.
Mm.
Um, and
Yeah.
had a hell of a run. And he's Justin Rose major winner with him
Yeah.
as well. So he's had some very
Exactly.
good. And I believe his
Yeah.
LPGA Tour players are playing very well as well.
Yeah. He's working with Lydia Ko now, and obviously she's playing really well, and yeah, he's got his guys are playing well.
Yeah, we've had Sean on the podcast. Anytime I talk to Sean, I always feel like I'm smarter. Like I've learned words. I feel like I've learned
Yeah.
words that I didn't know what the hell they meant before.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I
Yeah. Like.
sound smarter when I'm done talking to Sean.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
He
I'm
knows a
glad.
lot of big words.
I'm glad you feel exactly the same way. He makes me
Yeah.
feel like almost like, damn, I don't even know what that word is. You feel like dumb, but then you feel smart. You're just like, hey, listen, I'm going to use that word in the future.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Sort of click on with it. Yeah.
so before we
Yeah.
let you go, real quick, we do a segment here at the end called Emergency Nine. Get a quick 9
Perfect.
questions in, and you just
Fire.
answer the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
All right. Let's go.
I followed you on your Instagram. I see that you have a lot of shoes. How many pair
Oh
of
yeah.
shoes? How many pair of shoes do you own?
Like 50. 50. 50 pairs.
50 pair of shoes. All right. That's, you know what? That's
Mhm.
not bad. I think my wife's got that many. So that's actually not that
Yeah.
bad. Okay,
They're
good.
all Jordans and just stuff like that. Big
That's
Jordan guy.
good. How many Gator Jordan shoes do you have?
I only have one. No, one. I think I have the Gatorade sixes.
Nice.
So I
Okay.
guess like Gator shoes. Yeah.
Nice. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix. All right. Music on the golf course?
Yes.
All right. Who's your go-to artist on the golf course?
It just depends on the mood. I listen to rap music, and my favorite artist is this guy called Lil Baby. So probably Lil Baby,
Lil
considering I have
Baby.
a whole playlist for that guy.
He's coming to Jacksonville. He's coming to Ponte Vedra, Jacksonville soon. So you need to get on
Yeah,
over here.
yeah. I went and saw him in Orlando.
That is-
Yeah, it was interesting.
Dumbest thing you've heard or seen from a fan at a PGA Tour DP World Tour event?
Oh, dumbest. Oh, I had some guy actually the other day who was trying to. He was just extremely intoxicated and was giving me some verbal abuse. Yeah, that didn't end up very well, but well for him.
How did
Yeah,
that end up for him?
yeah, it was. Yeah, he was trying to get in a courtesy car. I don't exactly know how he got there, and he was complaining that he had to be wait. Yeah, he was waiting, and he was just very drunk, and it just
Oh
didn't
my
go well.
God.
It didn't go very well for him.
Good for you. You know what?
Yeah.
Good for you, Sam.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, no, not good.
Player you least like being paired with?
Oh, goodness gracious. A slow one.
A slow. We're
There's
not
a
willing
few
to
of
get.
the
We're not
No, we're
willing to
not
give
gonna
names.
give out names, but there's a few. There's a few.
There are a few slow players on tour.
Mhm.
Player you'd be most nervous to be paired with?
Gotta be Tiger.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, I play golf. He's the reason I play golf. He's the reason I have so many opportunities. No, not the main, he's the main reason why I have so many opportunities in the
Yeah.
game of golf. And, you look at guys, I'm not gonna say, but like the guys Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, those age guys, they grew up with Tiger in their
Yeah.
prime, and if Tiger did what he did, if he didn't do what he did, I don't know, golf would be the same. So yeah,
Have you met
Tiger.
Tiger?
I've met him once. Yes,
Yeah.
once. Yeah,
You're nervous as shit.
yeah. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, it's a legend. It's a goat. Of course. Yeah.
He is. He is the goat of golf. If you
Yes.
weren't a pro golfer, what would you be doing?
What would I be doing if I wasn't pro golfer? I really have no idea, to be honest with you. I would have definitely tried a lot more in school. That's for sure.
I can't blame you for that.
Yeah.
I know you're on the road a lot. You're on the road. You get home. Your girlfriend's there.
Mhm.
What's the one chore waiting on you that you always have to do when you get home?
I gotta always do laundry. Always got to do it.
Always
Yeah,
got to do it.
I hate doing it, but you know, you gotta have clean clothes.
Got to
So
get
yeah, I
done.
hate doing it.
And what's your go-to meal when you're on the road?
Steak and mashed potatoes.
They
Mm.
can't mess that up.
You can't mess it up. You know, you get some. You know, South Africa. I've been to South Africa a few times. Has some of the best steaks in the world. I just love
Yeah.
going there, and it's like $6 for like a fillet and mashed potatoes, and it is like one of the best steaks you'll ever eat. It's
Damn.
unbelievable. It's so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Damn, I love that.
One of my old teammates from Florida, my best friend, Gordon Neal, he's down there right now playing on the Sunshine Tour. And you know, we're always chatting about the food down there, and you know, he's enjoying life down there. So it's a cool
That's
part of the
awesome.
world. Cool
Well,
part of the world.
Sam, before we let you go, where can we see you play next? How can we watch you, whether
Um,
it's on TV or how can we see you here in the States?
Yeah, so I'm trying to, you know, like I said earlier on, I'm trying to get some invites on the PJ Tour. Still not sure on those ones. We won't know until closer to the date on those. So
Any
hopefully in one of
exact ones you're
those.
looking at? Any exact tournaments?
Yeah, I'm trying for Honda and Puerto Rico, and so we'll see on those ones,
Mhm.
and go from there. But next back over here, um, Danny Willett is hosting the British Masters, which is beginning of May. So back over there here then, and that's when we mainly kick off our tour in Europe.
Now, will you play some of our majors? Obviously, not the Masters yet, but will you play the PGA or the Open?
Yeah, yeah. So I got in those last year off my world rankings. So it just really depends where you are in the world rankings, and right now I'm inside the cutoffs for those. So you know, the goal is to keep trending and keep playing well, and you know, get inside you know, wherever I get to in the world rankings, and playing as many majors as I can.
Awesome, good deal. Well,
Cool, cool.
hopefully our Gators are better this year on the football field. Do you get a chance to
Oh,
watch
for
much Florida
sure.
football?
I haven't. I didn't last year. I know we were not the best last year, so I sort of stayed away
That's
from
putting it
it.
nicely.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but we
yeah. That
did beat
was very
Florida
nice.
State, which is really all that
Hey,
matters.
that's all that matters. Yeah, we got our ass handed to us by Georgia, of course, but
Right, we
you know
did.
that one always hurts. But
But
you
beating
know,
Florida
until
State makes it a little bit better, though.
it does, it does. I really, really, really do not like Florida State.
Uh,
But yeah, you know, I got to watch it a little bit, and you know, obviously 2 years ago when they were really good with Kyle Trask, that was really fun, and I got to go to, you know, I try to get up and go to a few games each year, which is it's probably my favorite sporting event of the year.
yeah,
You know, college game day is just you can't beat the atmosphere, and you
no,
know, if the rivalry's good, then you know you're gonna have a good time. So it's always
yeah.
fun.
Do you like to give the guys on tour that are from Florida? You know, we got Brooks, Daniel
Yeah,
Berger. There's quite a few Florida State guys out on tour. We
yeah,
need we
yeah.
we need more Florida boys.
We do. We really do. You know, I need some of my teammates and some of the boys to, you know, we need to step it up and get a little bit of you know, Gator presence known out there. But you know, I just
Billy
saw the
Horschel's
boys.
always willing to rep.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, Billy's a great Gator. Billy's a great Gator. You know, I saw the boys won the Sea Best tournament, the first event of the spring season. So you know, they're playing well, and hopefully they can kick on from here.
Yeah, good deal. Well, Sam, thank you so much, man. Appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you.
And
Thanks for having me, and yeah, all that good stuff.
good luck moving forward, man. And we will talk to you again. Hope next time we talk to you, it'll be after a win, and hopefully
Exactly.
we'll see you here at the Players or the Masters or one of
For
the
sure. For
tournaments
sure.
here. Good luck, man. Have a great one.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, my man.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Sam. Appreciate it, man.